This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. Oh. Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Link Up Podcast with your host, Mistuh King. No Kana, no Kalissa here today as well, but we got Woods and Rashid here to join us, the Three Amigos.
Yo, the Three Musketeers back again for another episode.
Once again, we are here. Alright, so, on a day like today, I guess one thing we get to is I'm healthy again. That's one thing to note, to be appreciative for in this episode compared to the last episode. Well, my voice sounds a little bit more different. Who you got sick from? How did you get sick?
You sick now?
I'm recovering. I was sick yesterday and the day. Like, I was really sick like 2 days ago. That was like max. Yesterday I was feeling a little bit better, but I had to go play. So my body like got a little dip. But it's more a tired dip than a you're getting sick again dip, you know? You know those dips? Anyways.
I'm feeling. Alrighty then. So today we're not going to have a long intro, you know? We can just get right into the topics.
Yes.
Try not to keep it too long of an episode.
Emphasis on try.
Yeah, I mean, we don't always succeed, but you know how that goes. But anyway, we could get into Tekashi 6ix9ine, I guess, and some of his shenanigans, some of the situations there. I mean, it's something that I kind of had some thoughts on. Wanted to hear you guys' perspective on it. I don't remember if we did discuss a specific aspect on air. I think maybe you might have had the conversation off air. But anyway, in the whole Tekashi 6ix9ine situation that we had addressed on the episode with Kenisha, I believe it was. Yes, on the end of that episode, we kind of briefly got into it and touched on the fact that all the transcripts or the recordings and whatnot at that point had just come out. But since then, it's now been some other things rumored to be going on in regards to his situation. One of those being that Tekashi will not be requesting any kind of witness protection, and he opted for 24-hour security or some shit like that. As well as, it seems as though, I don't know if it's confirmed or true, it seems as though this has been going around, but there's some $10 million deal that has been offered to Tekashi that's basically waiting for him. I don't know if he already signed it or what, but it's basically a deal on the table now for Tekashi that's about $10 million. I believe from the label that he was already signed to, that was led by this Lucian Grange dude. And I think one of the stipulations as well, because Jordan was talking about it on the podcast, is that he got to do like one Spanish record, one Spanish album, and one English one. So it's like, is Tekashi now going to be the new Ricky Martin or Enrique Iglesias or
you going back and forth? About the deal though, it's like a deal that's worth 10 mil, right? Not necessarily meaning he's getting 10 mil from the deal.
That's a good question, but I assume I don't know what exactly the deal is for. I assume it's a record deal, but it's a weird thing because he was already signed to that label, so it's like I don't know if he got dropped and it's just I don't know, they're restructuring the deal and this is what the new deal is for a 2-album deal or something like that, and it's worth 10 million. But generally, if that's an advance,
that's a hell of an advance, especially nowadays with how music production is and what the costs actually are compared to back in the day. Like back in the day, like people would spend upwards of 200 to 300, 400, even $1 million or past that for an album with video production and all of that included. Now, going back into that, I don't think like we still put a lot of money into it, but it's not to the extent that what it used to be.
But the way in advance work is that's pretty much all money that goes towards the album. If this is a 2-album deal and this is a $10 million advance, I'm not saying that it's not. Like, I'm not saying it's not a lot of money, because it certainly is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
But I mean, like, 2 albums with the way Tekashi music is like how many videos we're shooting per album.
Yeah, they're making their money back regardless, the record label, like for sure. Especially now
No, it
with all
just
the
mean
eyes.
like that 10 million is going to cover a lot of things. With like Tekashi had from the one album, he had a couple of videos out. All of those videos cost money. How much of the budget is coming out of that? How much of that same 10 million is being used to play and get Tekashi's records pushed to the extent that Tekashi records were being pushed at all the radio stations and stuff like that around the world? I was playing it and all of that. Like, it takes a lot of money to make Tekashi what he was. As we're not saying you're not gonna make it back and none like that, but
I think now it's going to be even easier for him to push his product
Yeah.
due to everything surrounding him right now.
All the buzz around him.
And if he spins it, because I already know how they're going to spin this. Tekashi, the biggest show ever. Blah, 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 blah. You're going to hear it. People going to see he was trolling everybody from the beginning. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Look, as I've mentioned on the podcast a million times, right? I've never fought. I don't like violence. I'm not that type of dude. But here's my thing, right? Tekashi 6ix9ine is a snitch. Pause. I've learned a lot of things in life listening to hip hop and rap music.
Snitch? You need a snitch on the. You need a pause on the snitch.
Yeah, no, I just mean pause before I continue with
Okay.
what I was going to talk about. So, I've learned a lot of things in life about hip hop and rap. Like it's been next to dancehall and soca, hip hop and rap has taken over a majority of my music listening life. Used to be pop back in the day when Michael Jackson was still doing his thing, but after that it was just rap, hip hop, dancehall, and soca.
I feel you,
What
man.
I've learned listening to rap, and especially hip hop, snitches get stitches. That's the hyperbolic chamber of rap and hip hop that I've been listening to.
Yeah.
Especially the people that he mentioned in his.
See, that's one thing. Like I know, I get exactly where you're going. It's something we all talked about many times regarding Tekashi's situation, and I feel like that was the kind of overarching narrative that was surrounding the Tekashi situation throughout his whole time that he was out and free and was on his run and whatnot. Everybody's like, where is this gonna end? We all warning him, people telling him all kind of stuff because they know we're being that boisterous, outlandish, kind of just wild with your words and stuff like that, telling the world to suck your dick. Basically, we know where that type of behavior ends up. Somebody gonna challenge it, and either gonna end up dead or in jail. One of those type of situations. But now, with the way everything has been going regarding Tekashi, like I heard an interesting kind of explanation. Listen to another podcast with somebody giving their opinion on this Tekashi thing, and that was basically he'll be fine. And the reason why is something that, when you think about it, it makes sense. The people that are really bothered by what it is that Tekashi did, they in jail. The people he snitched on, the people who have the most vendetta to actually go there and do something physically to him, yes, if you know Tekashi's a snitch, it bothers you. Be like, yeah, that's not behavior that you front, but you ain't gonna do shit to Tekashi. You don't care that much about it. Like, and I feel like that's a majority of other people. The only people that probably might be a little more affiliated or closely have an incentive or reason to actually do something to Tekashi is maybe some of the other 9 Trey Bloods. But let's say he gets out and he has a $10 million deal. What is better to do? Approach them to see that you could still give him some kind of blood protection and get access to that $10 million, or go kill him?
I mean, would it be smart for them to approach him at this point? Because I would see him as a cop.
Yeah, but it could still be like, yo, you got the persona. You're still selling the gangster persona and all of that by having some people in red bandanas around you. He might
if he has
be
one
seen
persona
as a cop.
now, it's snitch.
Yeah.
I mean,
And aside from that, there's also been examples of people talking about, like, giving examples of snitches in New York City that did similar things and walking around while everybody in New York talking about how Tekashi did this, and he, like, the way a lot of people who got affiliation to the streets of New York is, like, looking at Tekashi as friend because they feel a way and a little more closely tied to the street code and seeing some of their own people got, like, put in jail behind that and stuff like that.
I mean, look, on pause it now, and this
Paid
is
in
where I
full.
want it. Yeah,
Like, Paid in Full, the real story of that, in the way the movie Paid in Full ends, involves in people snitching, and the real people who that they out in the streets walking around in New York.
Yeah.
Like, Alpo was one of the people that it was based on, and people know, okay, Alpo was a snitch, and he out just roaming New York and stuff like that. If he's fine, who running up on Tekashi and why? Who cares enough about Tekashi to know I'm gonna do football numbers, I'm gonna go get buried under jail, because you know he's a cop. You know he telling. He not handling it by the street code. You know he telling.
Yeah.
So you can go put your hands, risk assault charge or attempted murder if you don't kill him or something like that to guarantee you end up in jail.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's the reason Tekashi will be fine.
yeah.
He'll come out and be rapping again.
So basically,
Tell him he got the blicky.
Honestly, I don't think even this is a bad message. No. If you see somebody do a bad thing and it saves your life, snitch. This is what I learned from Tekashi. This is what everybody's gonna do now, going forward. They're gonna snitch.
To me, the main thing, like, the main issue that I do get why people are upset about Tekashi is because of the blending of the two. It's like, to me, it's simple. If you're a regular person, you have all rights to call police, and ain't nobody looking at you like no snitch, nothing like that. The issue comes when you portray yourself to be a G and potentially claim to live by a certain code, which would involve
the 6ix9ine code, the 6ix9ine street. Apparently,
yeah, he got his own unique code that involves where you could live by be involved in all kind of street shit and doing illegal activities, and then turn around and snitch on the cops.
Yeah,
snitch to the cops. Then
I don't know.
It goes both ways. It's even in his name, 6ix9ine.
He's not allowed to call himself a rapper, though.
But he will. He'll probably be fine, just like King say.
Yeah, but 6ix9ine, did he ever care to call himself a rapper?
I mean, if
just
you would
like
ask
Cardi,
him,
he was there to get money.
Yeah.
Like there was
but
never
Cardi B is
the
more of a rapper than him, though.
How so? His lyrics might be trash, but at least he wrote them. At least to my knowledge. I'd never heard of 6ix9ine ghostwriting allegations.
Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if someone writes for him. Because, like, his whole fucking backstory was basically written up. It was fake.
There could be some Tekashi ghostwriters out there. I don't know. I don't know why you're yawning so much, but it's like it just started as soon as we started recording. Cause like I was good the entire conversation before then. As soon as we started recording, all this yawning coming.
I think we just tired of Tekashi at this point.
Your buddy sending you messages.
The subconscious speaking through me, telling me what really going on.
Cause I really like every time I try to figure out what's happening with this man, it's like, haha, got you again, and then there's something new, a new story comes out.
Yeah,
it's tiring. It's like Donald Trump.
You gotta acknowledge it gives people something to talk about.
It's true. He's like the Donald Trump of hip hop and rap right now.
Yeah. It's him and Cardi. There's a few people in hip hop that's like that. Kanye's another one. I mean, I saw some whole.
I mean, if you want to talk about who's the Donald Trump of hip hop and R&B,
I mean, is
Kanye.
there a better person than Kanye?
Yeah.
But I saw people was upset about him again for something he did, but I wasn't.
Didn't he promise an album and then didn't come out?
Yeah, aside from that, okay. Apparently he was saying something about Trump or apologizing on behalf of Trump or something.
Oh.
And I just mentioned this in passing because I didn't actually look into the story to see what it was, because like you're tired of certain people and
at this
being
point, if it's not music,
I
don't fuck with it.
Yeah, I talked about it last time because I'm like, okay, it seemed like maybe we getting some music, but now it's just like, okay, we were supposed to be getting Yandi or whatever last year, then we're supposed to get Jesus is King. Oh, and I recently saw some shit that says Kanye now he officially turned to Christianity, or what's Bikid in
English? Wasn't the next album going to be like a Christian album, basically? Yeah.
convert. That's the word. Yeah, he converted to Christianity.
What was he before?
What was he before that? Was he Mormon?
I don't know, but he was recently saved. So I guess he went through the whole Christianly process of going to the church and asking for forgiveness or whatever it is.
What this man was.
Okay.
Like, I assume he believed in God, like the Christian God and all of that, but he just didn't go through the actual process of going to the church. And you know, you gotta do some stuff. Like, I'm the wrong person to ask about all the protocols and procedures that go on in the church, because, you know, that wasn't my life. But there's like the christening for babies and stuff like that, and, you know, you ask Christ for forgiveness or something like that, so that, I don't know. Let me stop talking about religion for just completely like a fool on this topic. While
you dig a grave for yourself.
Yeah, basically. You looking up to see what Kanye was doing?
Yeah.
Trying to see if you can find whether he was Christian or not.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
I mean, it doesn't, but I just want to know, you know?
I mean, he made Jesus walk, so I assume he was like Christian, grew up like most black people.
Yeah, he grew up in a
Christian
religious
type
household, but I don't know if it was Christian, like, or something else. Like, the God religion tree is quite big, just under the Christianity, like all the subparts.
What are you thinking? Protestant, Catholic, Anglican, all of them things to the denominations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about the differences. To me, they're all Christians. They're all more or less the same. I know Seventh-day Adventists, they're the ones that just take the Sabbath or something like that and don't do stuff on Saturday or something like that. That's about
I mean, honestly, I don't really like... I own a church. That's all I know about religion at this point. Let's talk about something else.
So, aside from Kanye, on a similar topic of talking about Kanye, we could talk about SouthPark. I recently watched that episode again.
Which one? Which one you see?
The Gay Fish.
Yeah.
The Gay Fish episode, and then recently the Hobbit episode with Kim Kardashian with Kanye made another appearance. That was the fight against Photoshop with Wendy Testerberger.
Yeah.
That is great.
Y'all checked out the new episode yet?
Yes, I have.
I haven't watched none of them yet.
I've been keeping up to date with them since they've been released. It's only down to the 4th episode this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just.
Like, I kind of was thinking to just wait until the season done and then watch all of them once they're done. Yeah. But I feel like I kind of want to know what's going on because I'm curious about the China one. Like,
it's funny because everything that's going on there is like parallel to what's going on in, and that's usually the case with SouthPark.
Works,
but
that's why I kind of wanted to watch it like in the moment.
Yeah,
you know?
It's always so entertaining to see it because the first episode you had when they went and separate the immigrants or the kids from the parents
in the ice camps and whatnot.
Yes,
and then,
correct.
And
then you got Kyle telling them this is how you create Mexican Joker.
It was brilliant. So they basically, he was basically explaining how, like, you separating the kids from the parents, what you're basically teaching these kids are to be angry
at the government.
So then they had resentment, and then when they grow up, you're breeding terrorists in your own land.
The same people who's like, let's go bomb Afghanistan and wonder why people over there mad at the US.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's basically what they're talking about.
And that was second episode.
That's how they kick out the first episode.
Mexican Joker.
Second episode, you had Randy, that's Stan Fado with the weed farm.
Oh, okay.
Integrity Weed, and
We need to sell more weed.
he basically sell out to China.
And that's where the topics that we're talking about in a bit is going to be very relevant.
What area is that? Well, what do you plan to talk about? Sounds like you have a plan in mind, Woods.
No.
What's the secret agenda you got hidden?
So basically, that episode talks about like how China is basically investing in like a bunch of different companies. So what China is doing basically, look, side note, if y'all didn't know this, China is investing in every company. Like if you look at like all the major companies and you look at a company named Tencent, you're going to see what all this company owns. Like the biggest, like you would assume, okay, like Fortnite, it's American. Nope, wrong. Owned by the Chinese. Fun fact.
Okay.
If you didn't know, now you know, nigga.
I mean, I wasn't aware of that specific aspect about them investing in a whole bunch of companies, but it's not surprising considering everything else that China had going on regarding shit like the One Belt, One Road program. Just looking at that alone and all the kind of grand plans China had connected to that, it's not surprising that there would be some like side projects that would be an offshoot of that when you're trying to see like, okay, how can we connect the world to China by building all these infrastructure projects in Africa and Asia and everything, just to like facilitate create the new Silk Road.
But
we talked about that like a super old episode of the podcast.
We talked about like a long, I think
the One Belt, One
year.
Road thing. That was like one of the early episodes.
Last year or 2 years ago?
What even is that exactly? One Belt, One Road is what you call it?
It's basically like the new Silk Road project to connect China to Europe and Africa.
Okay.
So like last year, I think they had like a train that was going from China all the way to Europe.
Really?
Like you got all kind of shit where they're building roads and hospitals and all kind of shit in Africa and different Asian countries as all part of this One Belt, One Road initiative for China world domination.
Yeah, but you have to look at it also in the sense that when we're talking about China, Europe,
Huawei,
Africa,
Huawei, whatever the phone company, however people
Huawei,
pronounce it,
like they're all owned by the Chinese government. When you look at it from this perspective, it makes a lot of sense. When we talk about China, Europe, Africa, like all these places, we all connected to one big landmass. And we just section them off and we call them each of these segments, we call them Europe, Africa, and all of that.
Is Russia Asia or Europe?
Both.
What's the difference?
Both. We're all connected.
That's the point.
So when you're talking about like it's easier for this landmass to be communicating more efficiently with one another and trading goods because Africa has a bunch of raw materials that they could be sending to China.
And that's another whole controversial thing. There's a whole lot of deals going on where it's things like we trade in the raw materials for all the infrastructure projects and things that China is building in Africa and stuff. It's all these super fucked up deals, whereas like for the next 20 years, some percentage of your raw materials going to Africa, going to China, and that's the kind of method, because a lot of the African nations don't have some like the financial, the liquid kind of resources.
To make the final products at home.
So...
Yeah. But I mean, that's just...
There's a new neo-colonization kind of situation going on of Africa right now, where just instead of the Western people that was taken out, the East getting turned to pillage Africa and take what they got.
What needs to happen... Look, the thing is, what China did is... They did basically years of investment to get to the point to be able to make the end products at home. Because China in the beginning was not in that state.
It wasn't a manufacturing center in the world. They spent a lot of time to build the factories and get engineers and all of those kind of areas.
They are in the manufacturing boom that the U.S. had years.
But that also helps with the crazy population, though, because the ridiculous population also plays into a thing that drives the prices of labor down to ridiculous prices. That makes it like worth it to people to go over there because you could get larger margins if you let China handle the manufacturing, because you got 1 billion people over, like 3 billion people. However many people over there is in China, there's a whole lot of them.
It's a whole lot.
Yeah, but the thing is, like before that, like all of the products used to be just made in the States or wherever, and that wasn't really a big deal for the prices when you think about it. What the problem is right now is the products get shipped off to be made in China. This whole delusion that the products got cheaper when they got sent to China is bullshit. Didn't happen. What just happened is the
depends.
cost.
Depends what you're talking about.
I'm talking about electronics and stuff like that. Because that's
iPhones, no. Certain things.
When you're talking about electronics and stuff like that, they did not get cheaper. Clothing, yes, but honestly, the clothes, when you're talking about the high-end clothes or like the middleware clothes, they didn't really drop that much in price because the quality is still there.
Because the prices are artificial.
Yeah.
Like, in those types of things, like if we were to just reduce things to the basics of what things need to be, like There's a lot of things in this world that is just artificial inflated prices for an experience or luxury, like a lot of aesthetic or extra things that doesn't really need to be like. There's no luxury clothing brand that needs to cost the prices it does. It's just for the fact that this is some extravagant manufacturing process, or it's hand stitched with this incredibly sensitive material that might break apart in 2 seconds if you wash it in the wrong like it's just all these extra things that make it worth the money in quotation marks. Like,
I mean, because worth is perceived value at the end of the day. Like, do you perceive it to be worthy for the price that you're paying?
It's like I'm gonna pay $1,000 for a burger because it has gold flakes on it, and that's what makes it cost $1,000. Where I'm gonna get a handcrafted watch with the movement is assembled by every piece by hand, versus I'm gonna get one that's made by on a conveyor belt manufacturer, when that way costs like $10 versus the $300 one that's like handmade.
Because the thing is with manufacturing, especially mass manufacturing, when you have clothes made on a conveyor belt or whatever, like the price difference, if it was made in the States or in China, wouldn't be that much, because it would just be the profit cut that the company is taking. Okay, so we have to sell it for almost, because perceived value is still a thing. So you can't come with a shirt that I perceive, for example, as €15 and you're selling it for 25. If I find that shirt is too expensive, I'm going somewhere else to buy a shirt that sells a better quality shirt for the price that I perceive it to be. So that's how capital. It's vraag en aanbod. The bigger the demand, the higher the price. Blah 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 blah. But we have to get out of the mindset, especially with electronics, because these electronics are not worth the price that you're paying for. None of them.
I get where you're coming from, and it's very true to a certain extent. The only point that I'm making is the thing that drives up that demand is oftentimes artificial, and it's non-existent type of shit. Like, it's one of those things we've seen with Nike, because of like the resale market and how all of those, and like they release a limited amount of shoes, or like with certain Jordans, the retro ones, specific numbers and shit, release, or even a lot of watch brands do the same shit as well. We only make it 100 of this specific watch, so we could artificially drive up the price and the demand and stuff. We seen it with the beers and diamonds by owning and controlling the diamond trade, by launching these marketing campaigns to make you believe that the diamond is its ultimate sign of love and scarce. Exactly.
Diamonds are not scarce people.
You know exactly where I'm going with this shit.
Yeah, diamonds are not scarce people. You know how much diamonds they have, like, just stored up? Like,
and it's all just a marketing campaign.
Yeah. Wait, so diamonds are a sign of love?
Yeah, I mean, that was the marketing campaign at the time. It's the ultimate wedding, the wedding ring and all of that. The association came from the De Beers and these people in a wedding marketing campaign like years ago, and it just kind of set the foundation that you're supposed to spend 2/3 of your salary, or like I forget what it is, 3 months saving up or some shit like that. It needs to be the price of the ring that you get. I forget the formula that they have for it, but you're supposed to save up like 3 months salary or some nonsense like that to pay on this ring to show there's an ultimate sign of love and blah 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 and all that other nonsense.
It's a trap, people. It's a trap.
And the same thing happens with almost all other luxury goods, luxury products, whether it's a car, whether it's a watch, whether it's a clothing, a handbag, shoes, Louboutins and shit. Whatever thing you could think of, there's some nonsense and bullshit in that story as to why they're selling it for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Yo, for a second I thought you said Louboutins.
Yeah, I did. Because recently I was not recently, this was a while back, but I was watching a video on like how it's made or why it kind of costs as much as it does, and all those like the red bottoms. If you have a woman, you know, you'll get where stuff like that kind of comes from with conversation they have with women and whatnot. But you have a woman now, so you understand.
I mean, I haven't had those conversations yet. The relationship's still quite young.
Still new. I feel it.
Still fresh.
We ain't reached Louboutin yet level yet.
Listen, that's not a conversation to have, because I ain't pay. If she wanted them shit, she could get them herself. Like, I ain't paying for the Louboutins, but
once she know,
them things is literally like thousands of dollars for heels, and I'm like, why? When it just have a red bottom. The soul red.
I could paint it myself.
You understand, but then you can get sued because that red bottom is trademarked by Louboutin.
Oh God, I didn't even know that.
You understand? This is how these companies maintain their wealth, and be as expensive as they do is like as a whole. Don't get me started on luxury products.
I'm just happy with indie companies that sell good quality stuff for a reasonable price, cutting off these outrageous companies that charging an obscene amount of money for the products they are selling. Like, for example, watches. Mm-hmm. Some people making some really good quality watches with like the Rolex-ish type of mechanism inside of mechanism. I just said
the
that.
Automatic movement.
Yes. Inside these watches, and they sell them for like not even a fifth, like a sixth or a seventh of the price.
You provided me with a great opportunity to talk about my watch, the one that I'm wearing right now. Would you be curious to see the movement? You know, let me show you a little bit of how this thing works. As soon as it come off, you know. But yeah, like the underneath part, it's one of those it has a weight in it that kind of keeps it powered, so it basically will be running for forever type of thing. And that is actually like a replica of a Rolex watch type of thing. And the Rolex version of that watch costs like 20 or 40,000, and that one is like 100 something. Yeah. So think about that. I know. When it comes to just like manufacturing capabilities and what luxury is versus, it looks just as good. Works pretty. I don't know. It works pretty much just the same. I don't know how the Rolex one works because I ain't had that, so I can't say nothing about how that one works. If it works better than this, but it's a watch. It tells time. I can't imagine it's that much of a difference between this one.
Yeah.
So maybe the only thing that Rolex might have is the quality of what they're using in terms of not the mechanics but just the material.
That was something else, because this is just like gold. This gold plated versus the Rolex is like actual 24 karat gold or whatever, and it's just plated. But
so I can understand that, but yeah,
I never even understood that, honestly. Like when it comes to jewelry, like if you have a chain, if you're wearing a chain and it's gold plated or it's 7 karat gold or 14 karat gold, do you care what karat gold difference it is?
Not me. For me, it's not even, I don't care if it's real gold or fake gold or wooden or whatever.
That is the one thing I could see a difference where it's like, I just care whether it's real or not because my skin might have an allergic reaction. Certain people, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. My mom has that problem.
Whereas like literally they can't wear the copper or whatever material it is that causes a reaction.
But so you have to know what you're buying certain things for. Like if you're going to buy a fake chain, that's a use and dispose chain. You use it once and you throw it away. Those are good for if you're doing a music video, if you're doing film, or just anything where you just custom need something jewelry that you're not going to use ever again. Yes, those chains are perfectly fine. No one, there's a spoiler alert, no one in a music video most of the time has real bling on.
Or real money. I mean,
yeah. Although it's highly illegal to print fake money.
Yeah, but I mean, there's specific there's legal fake money that you like prop money. Then
in Europe, it's like to get that without printing it yourself. Yeah, and even printing it yourself is kind of risky. Because they just try to look for fake euro bills online. You're not finding that shit.
They don't play with that.
Not even a little. It's super illegal.
Like I know counterfeiting and stuff like that is illegal, but I guess I never really thought about it from the European side of things, because I mean, the showing money in the videos, some you see like American rap videos, it's very American thing, so I never really thought about it from the European perspective.
Yeah,
I mean, interesting.
But yeah, that's just an insight into the filming life. But yeah, what were we talking about again?
Consumerism, marketing.
Yeah, we went on a couple of tangents from
China.
From China all the way to
capitalism.
I mean, it makes sense. You're talking about China, you're going to talk about...
We was talking about SouthPark and the episodes, and then we got the shots because you had asked me about the One Belt, One Road, and then I started getting into that, and then we went on a tangent from there that got lost.
Correct.
So what's happening on the third episode of SouthPark?
Shit. Where's the third episode again?
I haven't seen the third one yet. The last one I saw was the one from
the fourth one, the one that got banned in China.
That was the weed one.
That was the third one. Because the third one is when Randy decided to say that he say F China.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the third one.
I haven't seen the episode yet, though. But
So the third one is what caused the ban.
Yes.
Okay. And I also saw I think it was Joe Rogan that I was watching where they was talking about this. Yeah, I caught Joe Rogan. I was talking about the SouthPark thing, and apparently it seems as though like they just add stuff for Chinese versions of films as well.
Oh yeah.
So it's like they were saying that for some of the Marvel movies, there's like a whole extra 10-minute
scene of like a doctor saving
with a Chinese doctor and stuff to kind of appeal to the Asian market because of like what we were saying earlier. It's 3 billion people, however many over there. So it's a super large
people
market.
in China found it like that whole story plotline stupid as fuck.
But just because
they're doing it more for like
as a market and plotline, I mean, money grab basically.
Yeah. But it's also a rule that they have in China. Like movies need to involve and have a good promote a good message for the Asian market.
That was the whole thing with like the ban on hip hop and whatnot. That was all of that. What you saying, like the message and the wholesomeness and stuff of the media content. That was a large part of why they was looking to or did ban hip hop in China because I mean it's a whole lot of drugs and violence and.
But it's not just that. Hip hop is very protesty.
Yeah,
nature.
That too.
They're not trying to support any kind of protest.
Look what's happening in Hong Kong right now.
I was just gonna say that. Like that's one situation I ain't really following as closely as I'd like to. Like, what is the source of that? If any of y'all know.
So basically,
I just saw that there was protests going on in Hong Kong and it getting like crazy out of hand.
So like Hong Kong is like a separate state within China, right? It's not. It's like a colony. It's not really 100%. Like they have their independence.
If I'm not mistaken,
they're a little independent. They're not like they're under. They fall under China, but they have like their independence. They're not under the monarch or whatever. I don't think they have a monarch, but you get what I mean.
If I'm not mistaken, they a colony of England, something like that.
They used to be.
Oh, used to be. Okay.
Yes, they used to be a colony of England, and then when England sold, Hong Kong back to Hong Kong, because I don't think they sold it to China specifically. They sold it to Hong Kong, so Hong Kong bought their independence.
I see.
And they are
in a similar situation with Taiwan as well, though.
Taiwan isn't Taiwan like more of like a
separate country?
Like, aren't they like a little bit feuding with China in a sense?
Something like that.
Because they basically like. They basically took Taiwan hostage, like from what I remembered, because like it's a long time ago that I read about this. But basically, the people in Taiwan took Taiwan hostage, and they were like, "No, fuck y'all, we want to like control our land by ourselves." Blah blah blah. So that's that. Like it's a murky. It's a murky situation with China and Taiwan.
I remember talking to a girl who was from Taiwan, and she was giving me like a brief explanation. I was like, "Yeah, you don't call Taiwan people from Taiwan Chinese and stuff like that. Like, they'll take that seriously as like an offense and be like, no, we're separate people. There's a clear distinction between us." Like,
and it's also like if you're a country and you want to do business with Taiwan, it's China first. So you have to do business with China before you do business with Taiwan. You cannot do business with Taiwan without doing business with China. It's a China first policy. Some weird shit like that. But there's a lot of stuff going on with that I really didn't read that much into.
But before we start, you were telling me mentioning some with NBA in China as well. So like,
so one of the leaders, one of the CEOs in the NBA, I don't remember his name right now. He basically did a tweet, and he was a tweet. The tweet was basically supporting the whole movement in Hong Kong and stuff like that. Basically, I'm not like it's not 100% accurate, but I'm paraphrasing what I saw. And because of that, China reacted, and they were basically cutting off all of the promotional material and all the stuff from the NBA in China. And I was like, what the fuck does China have to do with the NBA? Little did I know that a lot of products, like all of the games get transmitted there first. Secondly, all of the products from the Lakers, like all of that, is also being sold there, and commercials and a lot of stuff.
Because like ever since Yao, there was like a whole lot. You know, there was a serious partnership. Like Yao Ming was one of those things that served like a huge bridge to get the Chinese market into basketball and give them something to like care about. And it's been him, and then there was Lin Sanity at a point in time, Jeremy Lin. But yeah, continue. That's just a little extra added information I had about that.
So because of that, now the NBA did a response, and they did 2 responses.
Busy
the first response was one for the States, and the States one, I'm just paraphrasing, was like, yeah, we're not going to take this standing down. This, I'm just paraphrasing, like all boasting and, you know, like we are Americans, blah, blah, blah. But then the Chinese one was a whole different type of sucking up type of ordeal, you know, like, we sorry, please don't, you know, like something like that. So there's a whole issue with that now, because it's like, you have the Americans basically saying like, what the fuck? You're a fucking American company. Why are you letting the Chinese government that's not really in terms of the ideal of the American system, like, how are you letting them influence?
Into the communists, basically.
So how are you letting them influence your decisions? Blah, blah, blah. So that's
so you mean the same thing that they did to Russia?
Yep.
Yeah.
Foreign entities involving with U.S. going-ons and the U.S. appealing to the foreign entities.
Yeah. So you have that, and now, like, not just a little bonus, an extra. So in everybody knows Blizzard. Blizzard are the guys that makes World of Warcraft, not Fortnite, Overwatch. So those cats. It's Activision Blizzard, because Activision owns Blizzard,
right.
And Activision is Call of Duty.
It wasn't Halo as well.
No.
Who did it?
They have the guys that made.
I swear Blizzard was Halo.
No. Blizzard is not Halo.
Okay.
Microsoft is Halo.
Right.
I'm confused. But basically what happened, so there's this other game, it's a card game, it's called, what's the card game called again?
Anyway,
Magic?
No, Blizzard has a card game. It's kind of like Magic, but it's not. It's digital. It's a digital card game. You can play on your phone.
Not Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering.
No. Okay. It's none of those.
Okay.
It's a digital card game. Like, so,
yeah.
and they have the esports of that card game, and they all, because the esports is worldwide.
Is it Hearthstone?
Yes, Hearthstone.
Okay.
Hearthstone.
I don't know that.
And it's kind of like Magic.
All in the same vein.
Yeah. And so basically, what was happening, that they were broadcasting this game in Hong Kong, and one of the biggest players, I think he's from Hong Kong, he was in solidarity, or he's not from Hong Kong, but he was in solidarity with the people from Hong Kong during the protests and stuff like that. And because he did that during the live stream, the Blizzard reacted, and they basically blocked him. They said, you are not allowed to participate anymore for a year. You're banned for a year. And all of the prize money that we were supposed to pay you, we're not paying you anymore. They already earned that. And the 2 broadcasters, they were banned like permanently. And they got like a bunch of backlash for that move, because basically you're
like a lawsuit. Is a lawsuit happening yet? Is there?
No, they're already starting to, like, because they got so much backlash from this, and a lot of people from the States and Europe is like protesting them and like
putting pressure on Blizzard,
deleting their accounts, like legit, like, yeah. So because of that, like, they're now Blizzard. And because of that, now everybody's like Blizzard is like in panic mode and trying to like show face
put
now,
out some fires and whatnot, damage control mode.
But basically what I'm trying to like tell everyone is, like, try to, like, just see how much influence China has.
I mean, if Kana was here, Kana always talking about the importance and the influence of China and the Asian market in general. Like, he been saying how they're gonna take over the world and all of these things. And with all, like I said earlier, with a lot of the moves they're making from the One Belt One Road and beyond, they certainly showing that they at least taking a go at it. Like, we gonna give it a shot.
They still got to figure out their 70-30 situation, though.
I mean,
they have a population that's 70% men, 30% women.
Well, all they gotta do is export men to other places of the world, because a lot of places, in general, I mean, there's more men, or there's more women than men. So, I mean, certain places, they definitely...
Yeah, but it's not a 70-30 split.
I understand. But certain places, basically, they need men. So, it's like they can ship some of the men out to places and give some... like,
do you know why they have that problem? Did you read up on that?
They had the one child thing, and a lot of women.
You know what their solution to that is?
Reverse.
2-child.
I know the whatchamacallit, they like did away with the 1-child policy and made it more lenient and whatnot, but
Yo, stop messing around with fucking people's biology and let just humans be humans. And
the crazy thing is that, like, the kind of underbelly side of that is just the amount of illegal people that was like undocumented, because not if you do get pregnant,
you have to hide, because if
like,
not, you're going to get
kind of
like
under the table secret children that live in all kind of different hidden lives they gotta exist in, because if they get found out, they would get killed by all kind of craziness.
Somebody gotta do something about China, yo.
Yeah, because like, you have to look at it like this. Like right now, if you're in our generation, because our generation is the 1-child generation in China, and you're around my age, and your grandparents still alive and your parents still alive, you are basically going to have to look after your grandparents and your parents. I don't think you're understanding what I'm telling you.
Not necessarily. Break it down.
Because everybody had 1 child, right?
Yeah, but
your grandparents and your parents that now are also grandparents, you're the only child. Just put that into perspective.
Yeah. According to me, they was also going through a vergrijzing, because I can't find the English
and the population is like the elder population is like almost around 70 as well. Like it's some crazy.
What's the English
percent?
word for vergrijzing?
I have no idea.
The generation getting older and they having too much old people. Like, there's a disproportionate amount of old people in the workforce.
Older longer.
Yeah. All the young people, same shit that going on in Samat, and all the young people leaving, so you just got people in certain age groups on Samat, those that, pre-college or whatever, but pretty much all those within like 18 to 30 something or whatever. A lot of these people out in other places.
But I mean, we went on a bunch of tangents, but
let me see if we could find, something else that's an interesting topic that we didn't touch on yet. Also something I was kind of new. Before y'all came, I was doing some reading, looking into topics, and basically they recently put out the whole list of what all they're going to be adding to the Disney Plus thing. So, the new streaming service that is out on November 12th, and people on Twitter was
already
making
out,
jokes.
right?
Yeah, it's out in a kind of beta-ish version where you don't really gotta pay for it, and there's a limited selection, or like a pretty limited selection that does not include autoplay. So it's like I kind of lost interest after the first day. I went and checked it out and watched like Phineas and Ferb and some other thing. I watched Black Panther. Like, it's cool for movies because you don't need autoplay.
That's usually what I use them for. I am not a Disney child in the sense of I'm a Disney child, but I'm not a Disney Channel child. So I don't look at the shows. I'm not a That's So Raven type of guy. So
I get where you're coming from with most, but there's a few that's actually good.
I'm not saying I'm talking about the quality.
Phineas and Ferb, I mentioned that one in particular because it's Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb is one of the few ones. To me, it's Phineas and Ferb, Zack and Cody,
classic,
Wizards of Waverly Place. That's about it in terms of Disney Channel. Maybe That's So Raven. Because at that time, Raven was still cool. Then she turned into whatever she is now. But That's So Raven, she was still black and we could accept her.
No, but I'm just joking. But the thing is, like, I never I never, like, I had a Disney Channel, obviously, but I never really, like, watch the Disney Channel for some reason. Like I was more of a
Most of the
Nickelodeon
shows
kid.
trash. Most of the shows are trash. I will agree. It's like those are only three that I could think of: Wizards, Zack and Cody, Phineas and Ferb. Maybe Kim Possible. I guess that was a Disney Channel show.
Was it Kim?
Yes.
Was that
Kim
Disney?
Possible?
Yes.
Kim Possible was cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I
I can fuck with Kim Possible.
But the thing is, I was watching Kim Possible, but not on the Disney Channel.
What?
It was on the WB channel.
I think me as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I remember Kim Possible being on some other channel that was not.
It was
Disney
Warner Brothers.
Channel.
I remember Warner Brothers because it was back when Warner Brothers still had Pokemon before Cartoon Network bought it, the rights to it.
This was
And
before
it was,
4Kids?
It was Warner Brothers was 4Kids.
No, it wasn't.
Isn't 4Kids off from Warner Brothers?
No, 4Kids something else. But I do
me
remember
check
it
that.
being on
4Kids
WB.
isn't the translation company.
Yeah,
Is
essentially.
4Kids not the people who they translate Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah,
they do
correct,
Pokemon,
correct.
like the
Yes.
people who turn you like the reason in Yu-Gi-Oh people just point at each other instead of actually holding guns is because of 4Kids, according to me.
Yeah, One Piece too. Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they dub.
They replace guns with water guns
Oh, wow.
that still shoot pistols.
Oh. Oh, okay.
That still
I
shoot
thought
bullets,
it was
sorry.
bad in Yu-Gi-Oh just seeing people pointing at each other
Nah.
when it's supposed to be a gun.
Nah.
I know they went that
Their
far
censorship was horrible.
with it. According to me, those are the people who ruined Naruto as well. Talking about believe it.
I
Like,
got the companies mixed up. So 4Kids was with Fox.
That's what I was
Yes,
thinking.
yes, yes.
Fox
yes.
box and shit like
yeah,
that. That's okay then.
Yeah.
Shaman King.
Ah, classic.
Man.
Shaman King, man.
Fox box is dope.
Yeah, I used to be cycling through all the channels like Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. back when
Nickelodeon
S5.
is one of the goats.
Yeah, Nickelodeon
Yeah.
was pretty consistent show.
You got-
Nickelodeon always had good shows. Always.
I will say certain of them is definitely whack now, like being older to look back at them is like, this was just good because you was a kid and you didn't know shit about shit.
Yo, I don't care what you say, dog.
Like Keenan and Kel.
Otto.
Keenan and Kel. I know this is a classic to everybody, so this may be an unpopular opinion, but Keenan and Kel is not as good as it was
No, it's
as a
not.
kid.
It's not.
Like
It's
Kel
not.
No,
is
of
the
course
most
not.
annoying,
Yeah.
overacting
Yes.
asshole that like.
But I'm not. I'm
looking
talking
back-
about
Frustrating,
I'm
very
talking about
frustrating.
Put the
Rocket
screw
Power, man.
in the tuna.
Rocket Power, man.
Rocket Power is great.
Rocket Power is still great. Like I saw like a couple of episodes recently, not like 2 weeks ago. I was like, man, this show was ahead of its time, man.
Man, one of them that might
And
be
like
like
it was like if you take Fresh Prince and make it into like a show about
Shoobies.
yeah, you show about kids, you know.
All the slang they was trying to break down and
Yeah.
stuff, the surfer language and different thing.
And Uncle Phil was that Samoan guy. I can't remember his name.
I know he's the Tito.
Tito, yeah, man.
But
Tito
nah.
was the wise one, man.
Yeah, but he too chill to be Uncle Phil.
No, but I mean, like in the context of the story,
he's
like
Uncle Iroh. I mean, they put Avatar on
because the
Netflix.
dad,
Like, I
because
can't not
Otto's
watch
dad
it.
ain't Uncle Phil.
Who?
You understand? Like that, his father is not. He is not the responsible. Like
There was no Uncle Phil in that show. That's just all I would say.
for me,
Like they
Otto-
both too chill and they surfers. Like Uncle Phil's a lawyer. That's
I
the
mean,
exact
yeah.
opposite of these people and the chill, happy go lifestyle, Hawaiian life.
yeah, but that's why Tito. I know, but Tito had the knowledge, man. He
Tito was
like-
Uncle Arrow. That's why he's Uncle Arrow, the chill person who just wants to sip tea all day and play pie show. Like
Yo, if
gotta
Uncle
love
Phil
Iroh now.
just had some,
Arrow's a G.
if Uncle Phil grew up on the island, man, you never know.
Maybe.
If he was
But
near
that's
the
the thing I
beach,
like about Arrow though, cause like the man dangerous. Like you can't fuck with Arrow. Like nobody really, in terms of questioning his firebending ability, ain't nobody could really fuck with Arrow like that, except maybe Azula, cause Azula's a cheat.
Yeah, psycho dog.
yeah, no, Azul. I hated that
Even-
bitch so much.
And she can only win because like do using sneak attacks. Like she can't beat Iroh in a just straight up fight because Iroh mastered all the techniques to kind of divert.
He's just going to
and
reflect that
defend it.
lightning back
Exactly.
to you. You know?
Iroh will stop your heart from moving. One jolt. Alright, the man is a G, like you said.
When did he do
But-
that though? I don't like. I'm trying to remember.
I just think he could do it.
I guess. But I mean, did he ever? Doesn't mean Azula could do the same thing. I guess.
Yeah.
Which
but-
she did pretty much do
but
to
honestly,
Aang at a
the-
certain point in time.
Like everybody, like
Let me stop talking about Avatar. 'cause I'm gonna keep
bloodbending
going.
is the most broken thing.
That's
It's
what I was
OP.
just
Yeah.
watching like
It's
recently.
OP. Yep.
Avatar. I mean Katara.
Like if you're talking about like something that like no one can like circumvent, like if if you just want to dominate the world, like bloodbending would be the go-to.
The problem there is, I believe they had kind of changed, not in Legend of Korra 1 though, but in in the last Airbender, I mean, there was the only time you could do that is during the moon. When there's a lunar eclipse, that's the only time waterbenders get enough strength. Maybe at some point Katara had...
Didn't she do that without a full moon? Was that like a whole thing?
The whole episode about the bloodbending was happening on a full moon, because the whole story was during the full moon, people would disappear from this village, and it just turned out that the hidden waterbender person, she was using them as like puppeteers and leading people away from the village and bloodbending more during the full moon.
How many times is there a moon in a month? A full moon?
Once, according to me.
I think so, yeah.
That 1 month, that 1 day is all you need, man.
I guess.
If you're going to destroy a fort,
depends on how well your stuff is planned out and stuff. If you making whatever, I mean,
if you're going to attack, like, what are they going to do? It's a full moon. They're fucked.
You just have to beat Katara, because that's how Katara beat the chick. Like, she was trying to she was controlling Katara, but because Katara is also a waterbender who also gets strength from the full moon, if you're a strong enough waterbender, you can break free of the control of another waterbender. So that's like the one way to defend against.
I understand what you're saying, but
be
it's a group of waterbenders going to
yeah, if it's something like that, I think if it's like a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, one-on-one.
If it's
and
a waterbender,
both of them waterbenders, then yes. But I'm talking about like if it's a clan versus another clan, the full moon, you're fucked.
Yeah, the waterbenders pretty much cheat, because then they could heal you as well.
Yeah.
Like if they get burned from the Fire Nations and stuff, they got a magic water healing powers and shit like that. So they have the strongest offensive and defensive capabilities.
But then they have a limited time. They only got the full moon. How long does that last for?
I understand that, but you're controlling other people's bodies now. Break.
You slit your own throat. Slit the throat, fight done.
Yeah.
Like that's 2 seconds
fair
flat.
Enough.
2 seconds flat. You win the fight. Waterbenders certainly are like the strongest. It's cool that the earthbenders could bend lava and they could bend steel, like Toph when Toph learned to bend steel and shit.
The lava is dope.
But yeah, that come later in life for me, and that's Korra shit. But
yeah, lava, that's also kind of broken though. Because what is your defense to that fuck? Let's say you just do an eruption.
The same defense you just explained. I'm a controlling body and slit my own throat with it.
Yeah,
that's the defense. You win as a bloodbender.
True. But I mean, in the sense of a surprise attack, you ain't coming back from a volcano eruption underneath your feet, no.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you're a waterbender, you cool it down. I mean, like you said, a surprise attack.
A surprise attack, you're pretty much fucked. Although, like,
you also
it's
need
still
water
an earthquake.
around
like you would feel the earth shaking before something happens. But
possibly, yeah.
Still.
And no, you don't need water, because like Katara did the sweat bending. She run in place a little bit, generate a little sweat, cut herself out of a cage. Like, and that's what blood bending is. The people who the swamp benders who was bending vines and shit like that, because of the water flowing.
Yeah, water bending is the best one.
Pull water out of the air. Like, I'm gonna starve you. Like,
although
if I extract all the water out of your body and you 70% liquid, you're dead.
If you really think about the possibilities of wind bending, like you could just cut off the whole wind circulation from like a certain area with a group, and then just have the people just suffocate to death.
I mean,
it's true.
Yeah, I guess it's true.
I mean, that's the show would never go that route, because the way like
airbenders
are peaceful.
There's a bunch of yous. There's like vegans and vegetarians, and we like peace loving and animal friendly, and we don't like.
And here comes the Fire Nation.
But if you really think about it, like they could fuck like Fire Nation. Like you just cut off the air circulation, you can't even make fire, man.
Yeah. You
can't even make fire. Like, okay,
Firebenders had some interesting ones as well. Cause then there was Sparky Boom Man.
With eye?
Yeah, third eye guy with his laser beam explosive combustion man. Eventually renamed to Combustion Man, but you know, like that's, and then the Zula with the
Special
lightning and stuff.
That one I still don't like. All the other ones I can get, but the lightning one was kind of really.
How so? To me, that's one of the few that makes a lot more sense than some of the rest to me.
The laser one makes more sense to me. It's heat based. It still fall under their affinity.
And what is electricity?
Yeah, there's heat to it too.
It's energy. Yes, I understand, but it's still different. The way the properties works are completely different.
I guess.
I'm not trying to destroy your show. Anyway,
I guess
I love that show too.
Avatar is great to me. Like it's all energy. That's just the way I looked at it. So to me, like for lightning to be a higher form of firebending, it's like a more concentrated, a more refined, a faster moving particle type of thing. That's just the way I look at it. And to me, it don't seem that, I guess, far away for fire to be, and fire causes lightning causes fire and stuff like that. And then like, there's a lot of correlations.
I mean, in that sense, yes.
Like,
but I was just looking at it more from the
burns and stuff the same way, kind of similar, not the same exact way, but similar to how you can get burned from fire. Like there is similarities to the two things.
Yeah, it depends on what you have on. Like you don't just like if lightning hits you, you won't just combust into flames like that.
You willing to bet?
You
willing to get hit from lightning and see how
like
the aftermath is? You think you can turn into the Flash?
I would probably go and bust into flames faster than you.
Why?
My hair.
But I burn so quick.
Yeah, but you need that spark. That's what you need. It's a flash. Because you have a flash flame, and that flash flame will go to your clothes and your hair, and then it combusts into flame. But if you don't have anything, if you don't have clothes on or something like that, like the chance that you will then combust. Oh yeah, if you have gas, you're fucked. If you have gas in you, then you fucked.
My only thing is I'm curious to see how much you believe in your theory that you'd be willing to test it out and be like, you know what, cool, lightning, come on, bring it on. I'm willing to get shocked. I'll take it.
You talking to the guy that doesn't even go on fucking
roller coasters
and shit. So let's keep it all in theory, and we don't have to go in practice.
Alright. What else we got?
We could maybe touch on like one more other topic because this.
And before anyone else goes and comments anything, I'm talking straight out of anime logic and stuff like that, right? So don't come later with Woods. I think You think we do research like we do, but you think we did actual research on this topic right now? No,
we just
this wasn't even
Avatar.
on the docket.
We just talking about Avatar because I like Avatar. That's all I have right now, but. I don't think y'all like it the way I like it.
No,
I'm pretty much willing to bet that y'all don't like Avatar the way I like Avatar.
The Legend of Aang?
Either one.
Fucking love that show. Watched it like 6-7 times minimum. Though, like everything.
I'm just saying, don't steal it. No, actually, I ain't gonna mention it because people gonna steal it, but never mind. We will talk. I'll let y'all know after. But anyway, we could talk about DMX.
I mean, y'all have to give me a backdrop on that because I don't know.
It's not really much to talk about. Basically, just DMX got signed to Def Jam. He recently signed a deal with Def Jam, so he's back on a major label. It looks so. I mean, I don't know. I can't never know something like that for sure. But I mean, from some of the appearances that he has been making, it looks that way. And regarding DMX's comeback, I can say, there's been the GQ photo shoot. I don't know if any of y'all saw the pictures and stuff from. Really? Okay, true. No. Surprising. Some of them was looking pretty ridiculous, but there was a couple of them that looked dope. That was like 1 or 2 shots that was him looking kind of like Blade-ish. It was like, I don't know if you saw the GQ shoot from like other people, like J. Cole had the one recently and stuff. And it's a similar kind of weird, it's like different than what you kind of expect to see the people in.
Elseworld.
Someone. If you want to call it that. Might as well throw Flashpoint in there as well or something. But it's that kind of look, it's just different things that you would expect to see them in. And they had him, this one picture with like a big snake around him and different things and a super fake looking, like, when you take family portraits back in the day, they all have these super generic looking
backdrops.
Yeah.
Yes, like some of the pictures, it looked like that. She kind of had this one with a lightning striking thing on it, and the DMX, and he wearing these blade shades and different. Like some of them had looked crazy, but they had a couple cool looking ones. And then aside from that, there's also he's on one song from Godfather of Harlem. I don't know if y'all know or familiar with that. It's a series, according to me, that recently came out. I can't tell you nothing about what it's actually about. Wait, if I remember correctly, I think it's the one about Nicky Barnes, who was some crime lord in Harlem at the time or whatever.
I have no knowledge on that. Got to read up on it.
Or no. I think that's another one that they're making with Will Smith, because Will Smith's supposed to be playing Nicky Barnes in some upcoming thing that he's doing. And Godfather Harlem is a different one. I forget who involved in that one. But it's about some other... it's about Bumpy Johnson or some shit like that.
Who the hell is Bumpy
He's
Johnson?
another crime boss from similar time, like a Nicky Barnes or a Frank Lucas. And I think his story kind of connected to the Frank Lucas one from American Gangster and shit like that. But I could be wrong on some of those details about what it's specifically about. But the point was DMX is on one of the songs that's from the soundtrack of that's been released. And it features is a Swiss Beats on the hook. And DMX and Rick Ross got verses. Song pretty dope. It's nice to hear from DMX again. You know, that gravelly, growly type of voice that he got.
Aggressive.
It's good to hear that flow again. I certainly did miss it. I'm glad to hear from... I'm looking forward to new music from DMX. I mean...
He's a different type of aggression.
I've been a fan of... The aggression is certainly part of it. But DMX is just a unique figure.
It's
like
portrayal,
the flow, the barking, the prayers, like... Cause that was something that me and the wife was talking about, like when Kanye did announce he had an album coming out, like we was busy hypotheticalizing, you know, what the album would sound like. He was like, yo, you need a song with DMX just doing a prayer. Like if Kanye doing a gospel album, trying to think of, you know, what type of artist could fit on a gospel album and whatnot, and you need DMX doing a prayer. If you don't have DMX doing a prayer, is it even a gospel album?
And then it has to be in the intro and the outro.
If you mix Lord Give Me a Sign and Jesus Walks, do like a mashup of those two songs and way like
that song, you know.
I mean,
Lord Give Me a Sign.
That was one of my favorite songs from DMX.
Yeah, man.
Aside from all the, you know, aggressive, like y'all gonna make me lose my mind and party up and X gonna give it to you and like slipping is another one. Man. DMX made great music, like Cradle to the Grave, the Jet Li and Aaliyah thing, that, like all of that. Like DMX is a legend. I'm glad to see the dog back.
Yeah,
sounded a little more aggressive than that.
I was just about to say that one's kind of weak.
That's a puppy.
That was kind of weak.
That was an X. That was Lil Bow Wow.
Leave me alone.
Should have left that alone.
All right, so me and me over an hour and stuff. So I think. It's
about time.
We could start wrapping up unless, let me see if there's anything else.
Is there anything else we can
You got anything to say about Power?
About Power?
Because Power is also, like How to Get Away with Murder, Power is also in its final season. It's supposed to be done in, yes, I said it.
That's
although
fine.
It's supposed to be, from what I've been hearing, they're creating a spin-off and it's supposed to be like following
Stop
Tariq.
it.
They're trying to make a Power spin-off following the story of Tariq that they seem to be creating.
Thank you for saying this.
You actually watch any of the last episodes of Power?
I saw
for the season so far?
Not the last season, but the season before that.
I was none from this season of Power yet, and I'm planning to. I just be kept up to date, you know, every Sunday with the timeline and seeing what people on the timeline complaining about regarding Power, what nonsense Tariq doing that got people upset. Tariq still out there pissing people off apparently.
We gotta stop with this sequel nonsense.
I mean, if people invested in the show,
I don't know, but give it time. Let me miss it.
Okay, how do you feel about Young Sheldon? The spin-off of Big Bang Theory. I mean, we was talking about Blackish and then they're doing the mixed-ish one. Then it's like they had Young Sheldon spin-off from whatchamacallit. They have, I just saw Netflix trying to get me to watch El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, because they had Better Call Saul already, spin-off of Breaking Bad. Like,
I feel like the Breaking Bad one still had like a longer like time gap before I even heard of like
maybe
they
we're
making a
just talking
spin-off.
about Cora and
I like give me like a 2 years, 3 years like of time for me to miss the show before you start pulling my nostalgia strings. I don't even have nostalgia for the
even
thing
nostalgia
yet.
yet.
You're already pulling the strings. I like even now, especially with movies, like everybody's trying to like pull on those nostalgia strings. They're making a new Silent Bob movie, although like that at least has been ages. Like when was the last one made?
Jay and Silent Bob, right?
Yeah. When was the last time they made the Jay and Silent Bob movie?
Wasn't Clerks too? That was Jay and Silent Bob.
I mean,
Clerks and like that's Jay and Silent Bob, right?
Yeah,
Same
they're
people.
in it, but it's not a Silent Bob movie. It's not like just them.
I have no idea who Silent Bob is.
What?
I have no idea.
You show your age right now.
Go watch Clerks and Clerks 2.
Clerks and Clerks too.
Yeah. Go watch
Never heard
that.
of those movies. Is it a movie?
Those are the only ones I know. Yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones I know about.
But what was the last one? When was the last one made?
I don't know. It's been a while.
It feels like in the 90s?
I get the point that you
Early 2000s?
Because I mean, with Korra, like I wasn't even expecting a Korra surprised me out of nowhere. It was like Avatar was done for a long time, and it's like, oh, okay, we making a 2. Like
you know how Korra did me wrong a little bit. And this is just my bias.
I know there's a lot of people who don't even like to acknowledge Korra as a thing.
Why not?
I'm not saying Korra is bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. No, don't get me wrong. Like I'm just saying, if I had to choose between the two,
obviously.
Yeah, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose the first one over the second one.
Everybody would.
But everyone always, when for some reason, when you say that, people automatically assume that meaning that you think
Korra's
that
bad.
is. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I prefer the first one. With that being said, though, when Korra was announced and why it rubbed me the wrong way was everybody, like when you envisioned like a sequel to the Avatar, everybody assumed it was going to be Aang grown up somewhat, or at least like trying to, cause like the
I don't mind
the ending of Avatar was not a happy bow string attached ending. That ending still had a lot of question marks. Like
and that's why there was supposedly the whatchamacallit.
You had the comic book
to supposedly finish up and tie up some of the loose ends, but
you had the comic book that did that to a certain amount. But I was like, I'm not reading the comic book because I still have hope that they're going to animate that. That's how much I love the first one.
You probably should just go and read it. I don't think they're going to.
But
I mean,
that's what rubbed me the wrong way. So I watched yes. You know how many people was like, yo, you're going to do this instead of like you already have the plot material. It's there. Like just take it. At least make a movie out of it. At least that. Like the fan base like supported enough of that show for you to at least close out Aang's plot line in a good way.
Yeah.
It deserves it.
When
God knows it made enough money for a movie at least, and not that crappy movie that y'all made, an animated movie.
We don't talk about that.
That never happened. I don't know what you're referencing.
But now they're making an Avatar Netflix series.
I'm optimistic.
Me too.
Like,
I'm hopeful.
Honestly,
I don't know if I'm optimistic.
Honestly,
I want to be
Netflix
cautiously
seems
optimistic.
like they know what they're doing though. When it comes to their shows, like
I don't think the way I see it is it can't be worse than the one that already existed. That we pretend don't exist, but it can't be worse than that.
If they make a next Dragon Ball Z live action movie, it can't be worse.
Any of y'all ever saw the Samurai X one? Because that one had actually looked pretty interesting.
But it was made in Asia, right?
Yeah, it was like live action Asian.
They respect the shit.
But that's Rurouni Kenshin instead of Samurai X.
But that's the difference. Yeah, but it is Rurouni Kenshin. I mean, they just changed the name Samurai X for the American audience, the Western audience. But the thing is, like, that was still made in Asia, so they still have like the essence of like they didn't try to Americanize it. But that's the problem with like.
Ghost in the Shell.
With Ghost in the Shell, with even Dragon Ball
the other
Z.
one, Death Note.
Yeah. That's what happens when you. But with Death Note, it's kind of
the movie at that one.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because it's like
the live action set in a completely different place type of thing.
But yeah, we're taking all of that out, right? Why? Like they could have still taken like the essence of it and kept it, and just put it in America and kept the same. Because in a sense, Death Note was not very Japanese based. The plot wasn't.
It didn't need to.
It could have been set anywhere. It could have been set in Africa with the same plot line.
Find a book and write games in and kill people.
Yes. No, they had to go the extra mile, make it very American, have a love story. Why?
One thing I would like
K
to
look
see
like
on-
a fucking. Anyway,
I'd like to see a movie of Code Geass. Code
No,
Geass,
I do not.
Like, if they made a live, because to me, if they could do Gundam and stuff
They have
like
to
that,
make
or if
the
we could do
Gundam
Transformers,
movie-
if we could do
movie-
Transformers,
No.
if we can do Transformers, we can
is
do
different.
Code Geass.
No, we need they need to that Gundam movie is gonna come out next year. If they can pull off a Gundam movie, then they can transition into a Gundam movie with special abilities.
Listen, we can. To me, the thing is, if we can pull it out visually. That's the most important thing. The key now is just
Yeah, but it's the
script writing
political.
and the
Yes,
directing.
but that's the thing because
What
Gundam is very
direction type of-
political
what
heavy.
direction we and Code Geass.
Yes, but it's
Same shit.
political heavy with powers.
Yeah,
Because it's like because that's you need to do Gundam for go look Gundam, and this is okay.
But I just say that because Code Geass was one, like, story wise. Code Geass to me was one of the
Layers
most
of,
interesting
like,
animes that I watched. Like, you know, I wanted to rewatch it, but then they just had like weird dub versions or
Geass is
something on it,
Hunter x Hunter
so I just
with
didn't
Dex.
watch it. But it was
In
just
my
dope.
opinion.
I never watched Hunter X.
Hunter x Hunter is
in
good.
terms of
Ain't Hunter
tactics,
X Hunter or something like that.
You pronounce it Hunter x Hunter.
I just learned something.
because it's just tactics. That's basically it. Hunter
It's
x
like
Hunter is
Shikamaru from Naruto,
just
Yeah.
imagine a show with a bunch of Shikamarus. That's
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter.
or it's just like that's what made Death Note. Just the mental shit that was going on between L and Light and trying to outsmart each other and
if
shit.
you,
Like,
if you like a show with like every fight is not how strong you is, but it's how smart you are.
or like Blacklist and how the way Reddington thinks his way out of every situation just because he knows information and knows who needs to know what and what to use against who and shit like that. He's just thinking his way out of situations. But we're going on another tangent, so we need to wrap
But
this
yeah,
episode
before
up.
let me wrap it up by let me say this piece. Gundam is coming out next year, right? For those who don't know, like everybody has a show that's like it doesn't matter if the show is good or bad because Gundam is kind of annualized, not yearly, but there's always
There's
a
a lot of
Gundam.
versions.
Yeah, there's a lot of Gundam shows in different universes and like different timelines, but we don't have to go into that. Gundam is my favorite anime property. It's higher than Dragon Ball Z
Higher than
for me.
Naruto?
Higher than Naruto. Why? Because I love politics. And Gundam is the
Higher than Full Metal Alchemist?
it's higher than in terms of
if you go into
properties.
politics and like
Yes,
I mean-
yes, Gundam, like the original Gundam, goes into teams that some in terms of war and the political aspects of war and the blurriness of what is good and what is wrong, who is right, like. We have a protagonist, but is he right? Like it's like you sympathize with the villains because like usually the villains are not like these crazy like end of the world type. No,
Like Dragon Ball Z
all
people?
they all have a reason for doing this, and they both are right. If you are living in that side of the aisle and you see what they have done to your people, you would feel that type of way, and it's vice
what we
versa.
was
So
talking
it's,
about earlier with America
Yeah.
and shit.
so it's like that's why I love Gundam because you have some Gundam shows that are very Sentai heavy. They're just like fighting, blah blah blah. But you have like
I don't remember Gundam Wing because that one used to show on Cartoon Network. That specific one, like
But
back
that
in
one-
the day on St. Martin. And the only reason I can't like contend your opinion on
that
Gundam
one-
is
that
because
one
I
is-
never followed Gundam. Like I never, like the way I watch Naruto or Bleach or different animes where I watch it like. I religiously went and watched every episode in order type of thing. I only saw Gundam on TV, a couple of whatever episodes I'm to catch, I catch, that kind of vibe. So I can't really say, I never watched Gundam in depth and in order type of thing like what you're talking about. So I can't critique.
And the thing is like Gundam Wing. I love Gundam Wing because Gundam Wing is like what got me into Gundam, but it's not my favorite Gundam because it has its flaws because it's very these guys are uber powerful in a sense. Like it's like
Dragon Ball Z-ish with the power level type of stuff.
yes, but not to that extent because Dragon Ball Z is its
Hard to
own.
beat.
Yeah.
There's only one Punch Man in Dragon Ball
But
Z.
it still has those political aspects. So that was like the little sip of the heroin, and then I went to see the original one, and that's like because the original Gundam came out at a time just after the States bombed Japan, So the whole aspect of like people coming up in that time period is like very like what is war and why are we fighting, and like
I like those
very
things you're talking about is another reason I like Samurai X, and that's why that's also very high on my list of like favorite animes. All the talks about the Meiji era and the different dynasties that was going on, whereas like white people looking at he's the only samurai with a sword still, and that's an outdated era. Like just some of those, it's more historical in some ways than I guess like war specifically when it comes to like the Samurai X story versus a Gundam. But those type of things is why I love most of the animes I like. Like Full Metal Alchemist, to me there's few anime that handles some of the topics that Full Metal Alchemist handles. Like it's a super deep anime that's supposed to be aimed at children. I don't know. Like what child's supposed to watch you make a chimera out of your daughter?
No, but the thing is, and that's the thing. We have a connotation, and they don't have that in Japan, obviously.
Yeah, cartoons are not for kids. Cartoons is just anime.
It's just you have cartoons, and you have for kids, and you have for adults. And yeah, we're getting through that because like we
you see more of the Family Guys and the SouthParks and all of these.
Not just that, we're the generation that defines what's popular, not because we're the 90s. We're the 90s, the early 80s, the 90s generation, and now we are setting, like, we are the ones that choose what's popular and what's not. Because that's why now comics are super popular. Marvel has always been popular, but Marvel could not have had the fame it's having right now without us being the gatekeepers of the wallets. If you guess what I'm saying, because we're way more open to go see these shows than back then. Superman was not hitting these numbers back in the day when our parents were.
That's one of the aspects, but we've gotten into some of the other aspects on previous episodes. I mean,
obviously,
just basically like the lack of creativity and stuff like that. The sequels, let's pull from existing things that we know have a built-in fan base and all of that.
I don't want to put Marvel in that boat because Marvel.
Come on,
no, you can't.
Franchise content with established fan bases that we know.
I understand what you're saying, but what Marvel did in context, because if it was so easy,
and I was watching a video on this that kind of breaking the whole timeline with like Blade, the importance of the Blade movie and all that kind of made it viable for these type of movies to happen, with showing the success of the more darker twist on the superhero stuff, making it for the adult audience, and that led for the trend that we see with the Spider-Man next and everything that happened since then.
What I'm trying to say is that especially with like the Avengers series, because we have to call it that, the Avengers series, with all the subplots, the sub branches and stuff like that, like in terms of cinema, that has never been done to that scale. So like I can't go and say like, because DC tried, like Warner Brothers tried. They have the DC comics, and arguably in terms of popularity, they both are neck and neck. And DC could not pull it off. You understand what I'm saying? Like it takes like a lot of planning to make that.
You feel that that's more the consumer, or is that just more poor execution on the studio's part?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. It's not that easy to pull off. So we cannot just say that it's
your initial statement is more like leaning to the side of, because of the generation that we in now, the type of consumers that we have, and they want this type of content, that leads to them being able to invest and put this much resources and attention into creating something like the Marvel Cinematic Universe versus DC, where to me is like the reason DC just couldn't do that is because DC just didn't have the right directors and everything else in place to pull off such the amount of planning, like you said, the amount of planning that's required for something like that.
That it's lazy. It's not. Get what I'm saying?
Oh, that's the point you was making.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the amount of planning it takes to have that successful with every movie that they made, starting off with Iron Man,
and
ending off with Avengers.
All of Disney money to try at it. It helps if I got all the billions of dollars of Disney.
Warner Brothers also has Warner Brothers is not a, like, these are the Harry Potter people, man. Warner Brothers has a shit ton of money. They have arguably the same amount of money as Disney in terms of capital to put it into movies. It's just that the right people were put into place for this, and it's a marvel in cinema. to have the attention span of people going throughout Iron Man
for like 12 years or how
yes,
long it
and
lasted.
ending at the Avengers, and people still wanting more. It's a marvel in cinema. People can't even do trequels. After the third movie, usually movies suck.
We seen it with Fast and Furious. I mean,
so I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying, because it's easy. It's easier to invest in something that's already established whereas something indie. But then you have Joker, which is arguably just an indie movie, and it just slap Joker on his face.
Exactly the point. That's what made it viable, because we slapped Joker on it. If we just called it Bob Green or some dude and we showing his psychological
journey, it would
journey,
have still got the accolades.
It wouldn't have gotten the attention, though.
Not as much.
It might have gotten accolades after people watched it. But to get people to watch it and even be curious about it,
but
it wouldn't have that same pull if you don't slap the Joker name on it.
Yeah, for sure. But this is an indie movie that's mainstream.
Mass produced?
Yes. That's how you have to look at it, because it's not a mainstream movie that's mainstream, because a mainstream movie is...
Because I mean movies like Split and stuff.
Transformers,
like,
that's a mainstream movie for people that were short attention spans.
Yeah.
Explosions everywhere, you know, that's for people that
stuff
don't...
like Split and whatnot that garnered a lot of talk. Split and the other one with Jordan Peele, the Get Out and stuff like that. These indie more... I don't know if you could call those indie movies, but it's not necessarily. It's certainly not a blockbuster.
It's not a blockbuster.
Film.
It's an indie movie that broke out.
Yeah, and it just got a lot of attention and
already
stuff like that.
Big following. So it was Keenan Peele made this. They had a decent following, and the movie had good reviews, and the people that saw it really loved it, and it just exploded from there.
But I just meant like Split and stuff like that. A movie like Split, although I haven't watched it, the reactions and the way people was talking about it, it seems like the type of movie that you might compare to like a Joker or something like that. They're both psychological. Although I haven't seen none of these movies, so I don't know why I'm the person driving comparisons.
Like, I mean, you have one Sunday off.
Watch Joker.
Listen, my thing is I like character development. That's why I watch series. That's why I would much rather binge watch series all day than watch movies.
You get in, like, this is not a movie.
The Marvel cinematic thing that's one of the few things where you can really see character development and progression and pacing that doesn't feel like, okay, we just making shit happen to somebody so that we could get to the ending. Alright, people, so we back. We kind of had an interruption there, so we had to like kind of cut out a little bit of what was being recorded, because some dude felt like knocking on my door and picking up a package. But you know, I was expecting it when I actually took those packages from the dude this morning. But this is a complete different tangent than what we was talking about regarding the Joker and whatnot. But we noticed that we're around that time that we should be wrapping up and all of that anyway, so that's what we're here to do. So I apologize if you wanted to hear like the end of
whatever
that tangent, wherever that conversation was going. Like, it just kind of got interrupted, so now we're here.
Find out next time on the Link Up podcast.
So the plugs and whatnot. Let the people them know where they can find you and what you're doing and all of that.
So if you want to follow me on my IG, the IG is Woods the Chosen. Actually, everything is Woods the Chosen. Just go on any type of social media platform, is it Twitter or whatever, even gaming platforms, and type Woods the Chosen and see what you get. It's probably going to be me. And in terms of did I just put my gamer tag out there? Yes, I did. In terms of parties and stuff like that, RDA is coming up.
I seen
there's a lot of stuff
promoting some Asian Invasion.
Yeah, Asian Invasion is the 17th of October.
What is that? What's going on with this Asian Invasion thing?
Asian Invasion is basically what it sounds like. China is coming.
So like
that's a scary sentence.
China is coming.
That's
to
a scary sentence.
So Chinese DJs,
Chinese companies investing into the party.
Okay.
Investing everywhere.
If the conversation ain't coming back full circle, then I don't know what is, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, okay, so that we're going out Asian Invasion in ADE, yes. And then I guess the next thing is Curious on Mondays.
Every Monday we got Curious.
In John Doe.
You don't know, you got your boy Woods there every Monday, even when he's sick, neither rain, sleet or snow.
Man unstoppable.
Unstoppable until someone stops me. But with that said, yeah, that's the plugs I got for this month.
Alrighty then, so I'll take it from there with make sure to check out all the music from the Three Conscious Cats. Hope you enjoy streaming it and the few songs that are out currently by Mistuh King, and be on the lookout for the upcoming project that is still not yet titled. It's fire. Yeah, let some people hear it recently, you know. Let some people hear it recently and stuff, you know. So be on the lookout for that coming. Probably
November.
Nah. Dropping later than that.
Oh,
this year
December.
Still?
Nah. No, don't drop it
Next
December.
year.
That's that.
Not dropping this year.
Okay.
Yeah, December is that. It's that month.
I consider release date. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty certain about it, and I think I'll make it and get everything ready in time by
know
then.
what you're going to do.
But January 8th is my birthday.
Yeah, I already know. I was like, yeah.
And it's like, to me, that's always a day when I feel like, let me gift the world with some new music. So I think I'm going to just drop it on January 8th.
All right.
So the tentatively titled Mistuh King LP will be dropping on January 8th. So be on the lookout for that.
Oh, okay. I mean, with that said, I might as well just drop this as well. From November month, every Monday till up to my birthday, expect some things.
When is your birthday?
The 29th of November.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, the
4 tracks.
Okay, you just have me curious with the something. I'm like, is this music?
Yeah, it's obviously music.
Okay. Sounds good. I mean, I've been hearing some little stuff and
Good
stuff
shit.
here and there. Curious they had a final product, but
So am I.
they ain't got nothing left to be said now. I believe peoples. We here for an hour and a half, so and the camera already quit on us. So yeah, we can see you peoples the next time we link up.
Later.
China.